So hey, have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? You know, that phenomenon where people think that Nelson Mandela died way back in the 1980s as opposed to 2013 when he did die? Or that the word dilemma is spelled with an N, like dilemna? Or that the Berenstain Bears were actually called the Berenstain Bears? Or vice versa. I'm not sure which one it is. Now, for me personally, the most Mandela thing is this. What is the name of Popeye's archenemy? You know, the big asshole who tries to kidnap olive oil? Is his name Bluto or Brutus? Which is it? And I'm not the only one who's confused. I've asked my coworkers this over the years. Mostly older coworkers, because let's face it, kids don't know who the hell Popeye is. But I'll ask them that, and they'll immediately say, oh, it was Bluto! No, wait, it was Brutus! No, it was Bluto! No, it was Brutus! I don't know! Anyway, today, since I really had nothing better to do, I decided it's time for me to answer this question. Is it Bluto or Brutus? As with everything else in life, I go to Wikipedia to find the answer. Okay, let's see here. Wikipedia. Here it is. After the theatrical Popeye cartoon series ceased production in 1957, Bluto's name was changed to Brutus because it was incorrectly believed that Paramount Pictures, distributors of the Fleischer Studios cartoons, owned the rights to the name Bluto. King Features actually owned the name, as Bluto had been originally created for the comic strip. Due to a lack of thorough research, they failed to realize this and reinvented him as Brutus to avoid supposed copyright problems. Brutus appears in the 1960 to 1962 Popeye the Sailor television cartoons, with his physical appearance changed, making him morbidly obese rather than muscular. He normally sported a blue shirt and brown pants, and didn't appear to wear any socks. Wow, no socks. What a bum. So that's interesting. He was Bluto, but then they changed his name. That's also kind of funny, though, the idea that you can evade copyright just by making a character fatter and changing their name. I mean, by that logic, could you make a big, like, fucking fat Mickey Mouse cartoon and just call him Nicky Mouse? I'm pretty sure Disney would still sue you into oblivion for that. Also, it's kind of weird to hear a character described as morbidly obese. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like that's something that a doctor says. To be morbidly obese, you gotta have like fat cells and, you know, an actual weight and stuff. Cartoon characters shouldn't be morbidly obese, they should just be fat. I don't know. Wait, there's more. It is generally accepted that Bluto and Brutus are one and the same. However, a 1988 Popeye comic book published by Ocean Comics presented the two characters as twin brothers. In 1991, Bobby London, who wrote and drew the Popeye daily strip for 6 years, created the Return of Bluto story, where the 1932 version of Bluto returns and discovers a number of fat, bearded bullies have taken his place, calling themselves Brutus, each one being a different version of Popeye's rival. On December 28, 2008, and April 5th, 2009, the Popeye comic strip added Bluto in the capacity of twin brother of Brutus. Wow, so that's it. Now I finally know. Bluto and Brutus are different because they're twin brothers, but they're the same guy, and Bluto was like fucking buff. Like, look at this guy. This guy is like a fucking muscular beast. And Brutus, he's a fat ass. Big, disgusting fat fuck. All I can say is thank God we have the internet, because before the internet, this would have bugged me forever. If you're young and you've never seen the Popeye cartoons, you're not missing anything. They're old and they suck. Almost any cartoon you have today is infinitely superior to Popeye. Whenever old people say that old cartoons were better, the one thing that they forget is that in every old cartoon like Popeye and Bugs Bunny and everything else, like the same fucking thing would happen in every episode. Like literally, every episode of Popeye had Bluto or Brutus trying to pick on Popeye, but then Popeye would eat spinach and he'd beat him up. It happened in every single episode. In every single episode of Scooby-Doo, there's like a ghost, but the ghost is like an old man in a mask. Every single episode. And I don't know why. People just accepted it. Like, we didn't call it out. There was no public pressure like, hey, could you have your characters do anything else except for the same fucking thing over and over again? Like, you couldn't get away with that today.
Time to transform! Lucky charm! No more evil doing for you, little Akuma!
I don't think. Anyway, clearly, none of this matters. And now, I'm off to answer my other question about classic cartoons. Why? Why, like the Flintstones, why do Fred Flintstone and Betty Rubble have normal eyes with like whites and distinct pupils, but then Wilma and Barney, they have like just these little tiny, these dead little black dot doll eyes. Like what is this? Are some of them Neanderthals and others are Cro-Magnons? Like, why is that? You'd think that Fred and Wilma would have the same eyes because they're married, and that Barney and Betty would have the same eyes, but they don't. It's like each person is married to kind of a divergent branch of humanity. Other members of the hominid family before they, intermarried and merged into one single humanity. That has to be the reason, I think. Okay, I gotta go back to Wikipedia and see if there's an answer to this, because this Flintstone eye thing is really starting to bug me. Okay, let's see here.
This fella come running out of the swamp, headed straight for the Squat and Gobble restaurant. Damn near scared old Jasper Kincaid to death. You know Jasper Kincaid, he cooks there?
No, I don't. I never go there.
Well, you missed some damn good grub, but I'm digressing. This fella, Dugan his name was, spins this wild yarn about coming out here to your property and running across this giant leech thing. Said he lost two of his buddies, sucked them dry right there on the spot.
On the spot, you say?
Well, that's what he says anyway. Says he himself was saved from the jaws of death by this great big old green man from Mars.
A man from Mars?
Yeah, it's a planet, you know.
You don't say.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Ah, thank you, sweet thing. You know, Doc, you got yourself a regular Playboy mansion out here, don't you?
Dr. Zurel is a highly trained scientist. She's one of the world's leading specialists in the construction of human genes.
Well, I tell you what, Doc, if you give her any homework, she can get in my genes anytime she wants to.